This episode of Internet Today is brought to you by Honey.
Oh yeah, I guess we kind of forgot that it's an election year. There's a lot going on, and our candidate didn't get it, so it's kind of like fell off the deep end a little bit. I mean, but it is really mostly because Joe Biden either doesn't put himself out there very much for some odd reason, or his digital and PR teams are just terrible at marketing their candidate, because we're pretty active on social media and we watch a lot of news. But it seems like Joe Biden has been mysteriously absent, save for a few pop-ins here and there, ever since he became the presumptive nominee. And listen, we get it. He's self-quarantining. A lot of people still are. Good for you. But he could also be doing a lot more to reach out to people through the digital space. Sadly, every time he does attempt to do that, it fails horrifically.
Yeah, so just last Thursday, Biden held a virtual rally for the Tampa Bay, Florida area, and it was a technical disaster straight away with visual and audio glitches, awkward moments, confusion, and plenty more. It honestly seemed like a live Vic Berger video without the need for any editing. And we can't place the blame entirely on Joe Biden here. I mean, sure, he's old. How do you open PDF?
I don't know.
He's out of touch. He's frequently incomprehensible and potentially a sexual deviant.
Yeah.
But the complete failure of his digital media presence lays directly on the shoulders of the team that his campaign has built. They should clearly know how to execute live streams, podcasts, virtual town halls, and rallies. And you'd have to imagine that they have nearly unlimited resources to make these things happen. Yet, they are consistently hilarious, terrible, and easily used as ammo for mockery from anyone whose political views don't align with Joe Biden's.
Yeah, I mean, any screenshot from that virtual rally
is every frame was a glitch.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No, every frame was a piece of art, you mean. It was truly
glitch art.
Yeah, it looked like some of those fucked up glitch mosh things, or whatever, data moshing or something like that. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, you can either watch the full-length version, which is very good, or Vic Berger, he actually put a video out about it, but he didn't have to do too much editing.
Yeah.
Anyways, hold on though. The big brains down at the Biden Idea Factory, they might have actually found the perfect way to reach potential voters. And it's so uninspired that it might just work. Actually, no, it won't work at all, but we hope and we pray. And I would literally do anything to see this become a reality, because it would go down in history as arguably the funniest, most misguided, incredible failed political digital marketing campaign in history. Pretty much 2020's version of Pokemon Go to the polls, except somehow more cringy than that. So what is this brilliant plan?
1,000-foot tall Joe Biden speaking to you in an exclusive timed event in Fortnite. Fortnite.
Yeah.
Now, you're imagining it. We're imagining it. It's hilarious.
Yes.
It's literally the funniest fucking idea we've ever heard of in election year, and it's only made better by the constant failures from his digital team, which means that somehow, in ways that we can't even imagine, this will fail miserably.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's the fact that you'd be seeing a gigantic elderly man in a video game. Maybe it's that Joe Biden would have no idea where he even was or why he was there.
What is this?
Fortnite?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fact that a hefty portion of Fortnite's player base isn't even old enough to vote.
There's many reasons why this would be hilarious.
An infinite amount of things going on here that could all come together
Joe Biden
to make
drops
this amazing.
Down, just like Travis Scott, and smashes into the Fortnite. Everyone goes flying, but they go flying to new polling locations. Yes.
I want to see Joe do the floss.
I think it's fair to say that if we can't vote by mail, we should be able to vote in Fortnite. It's clearly the next logical step.
They should make him a playable skin.
That's what I'm saying, because they did that with Travis Scott too, and you get a Joe Biden backpack with like a "I'm for Joe" button on the back or whatever. Or no, you can, instead of the ATVs, you get Joe's Corvette to drive around in. And his aviators.
He licks ice cream for an emote.
And hugging people makes them feel very uncomfortable. Their health starts going down.
He's got a finisher. I don't even know if they have finishers in Fortnite, but he comes up and sniffs your soul out of your hair.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So, I mean, please, Mr. Biden, and please, Biden campaign. We hope this happens. We want to see it. Probably won't, but how great would that be?
It would be incredible. Incredible. His campaign, it isn't. They're not just looking for the same old, worn-out ideas. That's why they have real movers and shakers speaking on Biden's behalf, like Liz Smith.
Oh no!
Gotta breathe new life into this election. So here's Liz Smith. Yes, Liz Smith, a Democratic strategist who recently wrote an op-ed in the New York Times, which claims that there is still time for the 77-year-old Biden to, quote, become the hottest bad boy and disruptor in the media game. That is a quote from her article.
Oh, honey.
So yeah, she's the one that actually floated the idea for a Fortnite event surrounding Joe Biden as a follow-up to that incredible op-ed that gave us the hottest bad boy and disruptor in the media game quote.
This lady also ran the Pete Buttigieg campaign.
So yes, obviously very good. She said during an interview on Politico Live, quote, Travis Scott's takeover of Fortnite, if we could do that with Joe Biden for the convention, Joe Biden projected over the Grand Canyon. And folks, you just love to imagine it, don't you?
They're going to do the Democratic National Convention in Fortnite?
But for some reason, they're going to put the Grand Canyon in Fortnite as well because there's nothing more American than the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
A parcel of land that we just took and said, this is ours, damn it.
This is our big rock.
And just like that, Fortnite won't have a decision in the matter because the DNC is going to come in and say, no, we're doing this in your game. We want the Fortnite vote.
Yep.
So yes, it would be great to see the absolute confusion on the faces of millions of teenagers as their characters dressed up as Deadpool or riding an inflatable llama perform the Orange Julius dance while a massive projection of an old man struggles to read a teleprompter in front of them as he details to a younger generation how their parents, they can choose to keep their employer-provided healthcare plans even though they just lost their jobs during the pandemic. Ooh, wouldn't that be a sight?
Yeah, that would be... I want to see someone in Fortnite, if you can interact with them and be like, hey, are you going to stop deporting people? A bunch of my family members got deported. And then giant 1,000-foot-tall Joe Biden sticks his finger in your face.
Hey, Jack.
Says, listen, Jack, why don't you vote for Trump?
Listen, fat. I don't want you to vote for me. Yeah, he starts getting bullied and then immediately starts bullying little avatars all around him.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said before, the possibilities are endless. And it would be greater than any comedy show that has ever existed.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live, eat your heart out.
So we look forward to many more of these great ideas to come out of the Biden camp and eagerly await his big YouTube debut where Joe will do a hot sauce challenge, team up with Shane Dawson to create a flashy docuseries about various conspiracy theories surrounding President Trump, visit a suicide forest, accidentally say the N-word while streaming, then issue a tearful apology video just before Election Day.
Guys,
we're living in crazy times, and we'd definitely appreciate these moments of hilarity if it just wasn't so sad that we had to choose between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So, really, the joke is on us, which is pretty typical. I mean, have you seen our citizens? We kind of deserve all the clowns running the circus.
Yes, we do. Anyways, for some reason, Joe Biden in Fortnite wasn't the only video game reference in what should be considered serious news today because CNN decided they'd try to appeal to the gamer generation as well. Something to, really grab their attention and inform them of the potential pitfalls surrounding the reopening of the country in the midst of a pandemic. So they ran with this headline, how we Leroy Jenkins'd the coronavirus reopening. And this article was complete with a very, very low resolution screenshot of the original video just beneath it. Journalistic art, I'd say, but brilliant, The people who grew up with Leroy Jenkins, they can finally understand what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Let's just read this.
15 years ago today, a video was uploaded to the internet. It was of a group of nerds. Wait, not nerds, sorry, gamers, playing something called World of Warcraft. The video featured 20-ish people plotting how to attack a boss. It was in an area known as Upper Blackrock Spire in the game. It was an intricate plan, with all sorts of coordinated moves being worked out, and even a guy calculating the group's chances of survival. The plotting went on for an extended period of time, right up until one of the players yelled, "Time's up, let's do this, Leroy Jenkins," and sprinted into the room to battle the boss. Leroy Jenkins was his screen name in the game. They all followed him because, well, what the hell else were they going to do?
Yeah, it continues. What you are wondering at this point, does any of that have to do with the coronavirus and the way in which governors are reopening their states? A lot, actually. In fact, quote, Leroy Jenkins is the perfect way to understand how we got to a place where 48 of the 50 states will be at least partially reopened by May 17th, despite the fact that very few of them have met the federal guidelines for reopening. You remember those guidelines, right? President Donald Trump released them to much fanfare on April 16th, a detailed step-by-step process that states had to go through before reopening. It was, Trump insisted, the result of consultations with doctors, infectious disease experts, and a slew of others aimed at not opening all at once, but one careful step at a time. 8 days later, Republican Georgia Governor Brian Kemp just Leroy Jenkins'd it announcing that he was beginning to reopen his state despite the fact that most health experts and Trump said it was a bad idea. Once Kemp, had run through that reopening doorway, the other governors had no choice but to follow, because the political pressure to do so once Kemp had broken the seal became even more intense. And faced with growing protests and economic numbers that hadn't been so bad since the Great Depression, governors rushed to reopen their states. Plans, plots, and federal guidelines be damned.
Wow, we finally get it. It's all so clear to us now.
Yes.
Thanks for putting in a context that we, the humble gamers, can finally understand.
They did mention at the end of the article, it was like, update, yes, I know that the Leroy Jenkins video was a planned thing and that it was for comedic effect, but the statement still stands.
Yeah. Anyways, before we get to the rest of the show, let's take a quick second to thank today's sponsor, Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that saves you money online. Honey automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart, which makes online shopping finally feel as easy as it's supposed to be.
Here's how it works. Imagine you're shopping at one of your favorite sites like Target, Best Buy, Etsy, Macy's, and so on. When you check out, this little box drops down and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds for it to scan every promo code on the internet and watch the prices drop. Hey, me personally, I bought my wife some flowers and a necklace for our anniversary. Honey saved me around $60 between those two purchases. It was a relief to see those prices drop.
Honey has found its over 18 million members over $2 billion in savings. They support over 30,000 stores online, and they're adding more every day. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. It's free to use and installs in just 2 clicks. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/itdaily. That's joinhoney.com/itdaily. Or click the link down in the description and start saving today.
All right, so obviously we have 2 more things to talk about that are now staples of this show for the time being. Coronavirus and Quibi.
Quibi.
Let's get the coronavirus shit out of the way first. I mean, they both technically have things to do with the coronavirus, because what doesn't? Anyways, we've all seen at least a few of the countless protest videos over the past few weeks where locals, wherever they are, take to the streets, ignore social distancing, remove their masks, and just get real angry and start chanting about their freedoms or whatever. Well, the video that really took off today is truly one of our favorites because over in Florida, a state where things are almost completely back to normal by now, there is still one major problem for a lot of people. The gyms are closed.
The world's your gym, though. These gym rats out there, they just absolutely 100% need to get back into those gyms so they can keep... they can work out again. Their gains, they're losing their gains, their losses now. And you know what? Yes, working out is very good for you. People who are in shape and don't have any other underlying health issues are better suited to deal with this virus. But you can work out from home or at the local park or the beach or, literally wherever.
Yeah.
It'd probably be safe to say that not everyone has a bunch of weights or a plethora of other expensive equipment, but there are ways.
Yes. James Willems can figure it out, so can you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was truly amazing to see a protest today where the protesters are proving that they don't need the very thing that they're angry at not having. Because in Clearwater, Florida, a bunch of fitness fanatics, they set up shop right outside their local courthouse to demand that the city allow their local gyms to reopen. And how did they get this point across? By collectively doing exercises like squats and push-ups collectively as a group, like something you'd see in, the inside of a gym. Hey, but there they were, completely free to work out with no problems from law enforcement or anything. But, this is Florida, so this protest, it'll probably work, or it'll at least be completely pointless because their local governments might have already had plans and schedules in place for these businesses. Still a very funny sight, though.
Yeah.
Very silly.
Yeah, they got the attention they were looking for.
Yeah, and they got a great pump out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now over to Quibi. It's official, as we've said previously, multiple times in fact. Quibi, specifically their founder, Jeffrey Katzenberg, has now gone on record and claimed that Quibi's failure was entirely the fault of the coronavirus and no other reason.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't have been anything else.
What can you do? In a New York Times article that ran Monday morning, Katzenberg said the following: "I attribute everything that has gone wrong to coronavirus. Everything."
I take no responsibility. Literally a Trumpism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The article lays more of the data out and behind-the-scenes worries that executives are faced with, saying, quote, "Even with a free 90-day trial, the app has been installed by only 2.9 million customers, according to the Sensor Tower. Quibi says the figure is more like 3.5 million. Of those who have installed the app, the company says 1.3 million are active users." That's not good.
No, that's not good at all. No. Shall we go back to the calculator? I think we shall. And again, this might be wrong. We're YouTubers, not people who have real jobs. 1.3 million active users if they stayed and subscribed at the base price of $4.99, because remember, this app actually costs money after the trial. It would take just over 22 years for Quibi to make back the initial launch investment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, that's better than our original calculations.
70 years? Yeah. Now, obviously, Katzenberg is less than stoked about their downloads and active users, saying, quote, "Is it the avalanche of people that we wanted and were going for out of launch?" he said. The answer is no. It is not up to what we wanted. It's not close to what we wanted. Wow, like we said, who could have seen this coming? It's almost like we mocked this the day it was announced and said it wouldn't.
Imagine how gangbusters this app would be doing
if it weren't for the coronavirus.
If it weren't for the coronavirus, which has put people in their homes starved for content. Wait, shit.
But they're not on their phones with the perfect amount of time for a quick bite.
Anyway, the article then goes on to list the various reasons why the app is performing so poorly, though we maintain the opinion that when it comes down to it, the content just isn't that good, or at least not good enough to pay money for.
Mm-hmm.
But their reasons are things that we've spoken about before. They're glaring, stupid mistakes that never should have been made in the first place, like the fact that you can't cast videos to your TV, or the fact that there's absolutely zero social media sharing abilities built into the app. In fact, from launch, the app makes it impossible to screenshot things on purpose.
That was a design choice.
Get out of here, pirate. No
Yeah.
piracy here.
They also go into the fact that no one is watching their daily news shows. Quote, "The daily essentials are not that essential," Mr. Katzenberg
I didn't even know they had a news show.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them. And they also say that they made a huge mistake by marketing the app as a whole instead of, marketing the shows that exist on the app.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Katzenberg also said that they've rolled back their financial projections for the year and that they'll also be moving at a slower pace on releasing new content so they can have episodes uploaded on a consistent yet slower basis in order to stretch out the stuff they have until Hollywood can go back into full production, which, I mean, that doesn't bode well for anyone who is actually thinking about paying for the app when it goes off its trial. What, you mean I'm getting less now than I was promised in addition to all the problems? Cool. Take my money, Jeff. Thanks.
Anyways, the interview ends with Katzenberg getting pretty frustrated. When asked if the success of TikTok gave him pause, considering that it's also a platform built on short-form video, albeit of the user-generated variety, Mr. Katzenberg seemed momentarily steamed. Quote, "That's like comparing apples to submarines," he said. "I don't know what people are expecting from us. What did Netflix look like 30 days after it launched? To tell me about a company that has 1 billion users and is doing great in the past 6 weeks, I'm happy for them, but what the hell does it have to do with me?" Well,
end of interview.
Yeah, I, for one, very excited to see, the meltdowns continue as the app slowly but surely approaches the end of its free trial period.
This man is he's gonna fucking lose his mind at an age where he should be retired.
Yeah, he had a long, successful career in the movie business. He had his own movie studio. And he had to go and put the cherry on top of his life sundae is just the dumbest app idea ever.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to watch. Anyway, speaking of things to watch, check out our most recent episode of Weekly Weird News over here. It's chock full of Jacob Wall updates and a failed coup in Venezuela. It's all there. Also, another episode of News Dump. Check both of those out, and we will see you very soon.
Bye.